Argumentation, or whenever someone says argue, it almost always has a very negative connotation to it. Arguing or arguments are seen as a very combative and confrontational thing. People don't like the word arguing. They don't like to argue. They don't like the idea of debating or anything. Whereas my upbringing and just my philosophical background, argumentation is literally the essence of philosophy. Therefore, it's literally the essence of discovering truth. You cannot really come up with truth and to find out what's right or wrong until you challenge an idea. It's literally what the scientific method is. You first make a hypothesis, right? And it could be the most random hypothesis. It's just out of nowhere. You're like, I think that if I put some of this stuff on, this dirt will turn blue. And you have no reason for that, but you create a hypothesis and then you challenge it. And the more you challenge something, the more it's challenged and proven true, it becomes stronger and stronger, and it eventually becomes a law, right? And a theory, but that's what philosophy is. And so argumentation doesn't have to be a negative thing. What I think the best thing that people can do to become better thinkers and better decision makers is learning that it's very, very wise to argue with yourself. Let me just explain when I say argue. I'm not saying being mean and attacking. What I'm saying is challenging something, trying to find the flaw in what something might be. In fact, sometimes I'll argue a point that I don't even agree with. But I'm arguing it to think of what's the best way that this thing could be true. And I'll give it the best argument I can think of. And then what I'll do is I'll come up with another argument against the argument I just made here. And I go back and forth until I can find out genuinely what I think is the truth. Arguing is another way of really challenging your own thoughts. Let's just take a real practical example. Let's just say you believe in Jesus. You haven't challenged it a lot. Like, this would be a very healthy thing for you. And I'm not saying to believe in Jesus or to not believe in Jesus. I'm saying if you believed in Jesus, a good healthy thing would be ask yourself, well, why do I believe in Jesus? And then you answer it. Well, I believe in him because of X, Y, Z. Well, X, Y, and Z is like this. And if that's true, then that would mean that doesn't make any sense why you would believe in Jesus. And then you answer that, and you're kind of arguing with yourself. You're either trying to strengthen your own faith, or you're really trying to find out the errors of your thinking. A lot of people, what they do is they're scared of arguments. They're scared of not knowing something. They're so scared of what they might learn or of these truths, and so they kind of hide. They're like this ostrich that sticks its head in the sand and just wants to hide from the whole world. It doesn't really work that way anymore. You know, like we live in too modern of a world where there's too much technology and there's too much stuff going around. You can't hide from all these things. It's best to strengthen your faith by knowing why you have your faith, or your own beliefs, or your own knowledge. And the same thing can go in anything, in business. I think that this is a good business idea. And you think, well, why? Because of this. Well, I don't think it is because of this. Well, what about this? And then you talk it through your head, and you're able to strengthen your own faith, your own belief in something. It's not a negative thing. In fact, it's the opposition is actually what will create the strength and the resolve in the right thing. And then whenever that strength and resolve has been distinguished, now you have just like 10 times the resolve and the strength and the commitment. And you're able to articulate your own thoughts of why you believe something. And it also internally will give you more confidence. Versus there's a lot of people that they want to believe something, but they're so scared to challenge it that they will never listen to anybody that has anything against that. And they never want to challenge it because they're scared if they learn anything, they might not be able to believe this thing anymore. Your fear is in complete opposition of faith and confidence. They don't really coexist together very well, fear and faith. The more scared you are and fearful of knowledge, the less faith and confidence you'll have. And I see a lot of people in religion. You know, I grew up as a Mormon, and I meet so many people, and they're so adamant. I know that this church is true. I know this with every fiber of my being. I know it from the bottom of my heart. But then whenever you actually ask them or you challenge anything, they're so scared to hear any knowledge. They're like, I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear none of it. I don't want to get brainwashed by anything. And it's actually really fascinating because that very fear is actually what keeps them stuck. And they delude themselves into thinking that they are exercising faith by sticking to something. That's not real faith. That's not like backed up by your own thinking, because you can still have your faith and strengthen it with knowing opposition, and then find a way to deepen your faith if that's what you need, if that's what you want. I guess my whole point is in everything that we do, learn how to be comfortable with argumentation and seeking that knowledge and the truth. Instead of being so stuck on what you think should be, challenge it. Challenging it will bring to light the truth, whatever the truth is. And don't be scared of the truth. You know, as they say, the truth shall set you free. Once you're free, then you're free. then you can do so many more things. You're free and you're powerful. Anyways, this is very deep philosophical stuff, but this applies to poker, and this applies to relationships and religion, your own mental well-being. I have found a lot of gratitude and good fortune in learning how to argue in a healthy way. I want to make that more of a normal thing. I think that should be something people do a lot more comfortably with each other, because it's not about attacking the person, it's about discovering what the truth is. Hope this kind of helps. It's a little bit of a longer video, just really some cool thoughts I've been having. All right, cheers.